After the highly successful and fantastic Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy, fans were clamoring for more PlayStation nostalgic goodness, and we just got that with the Spyro the Dragon Reignited Trilogy. But are these ones worth lighting up? Or should these remakes just be turned into ashes? The Spyro Reignited Trilogy are remakes of the original 3 Spyro the Dragon games: Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, and Spyro Year of the Dragon. I fully admit that I don't have quite as much nostalgia towards Spyro as I did with Crash, only playing through these games a handful of times each, but even me, still lots of nostalgia came rushing back to me as I played through these 3 games. Simply put, I think for the most part, fans who have loved Spyro for a long time are going to love these remakes as well. The worlds and character of Spyro the Dragon have been kind of reimagined. It's more of a cartoon world, and very much works for this series. Some people may not like some of the redesigns for certain characters, but for the most part I think they all turned out pretty well. I also really like most of the voices throughout the game. All the worlds and levels of all the Spyro games absolutely shine. They're extremely colorful, bright, and I wanted to progress through each and every one of the games to see the next bright, beautiful world reimagined here on PS4. While I'm sure there were some minor changes made, for the most part these games play exactly the way I expected them to. For those who already love these games back on PS1, the controls will feel right at home, but for newcomers it does take a little bit to get used to controlling Spyro. The good thing is, whichever game you decide to start with, hopefully the first one, once you've mastered Spyro and controlling him there, it's pretty much the same thing for all 3 games as far as controlling Spyro, though he gains new abilities throughout the course of the series. For those who may not be familiar with Spyro going into the game, all 3 games have basically the same premise, featuring a hub world broken up into multiple levels each. Once you complete all the stages and collect enough stuff in one world, you move on to the next world, usually a boss encounter at the end of a particular world. In Spyro 1, you can actually skip the bosses, but they become mandatory in the other games. What's also cool, in Spyro Year of the Dragon, you get other playable characters. Once you're able to save them, you'll get the likes of Sheila the Kangaroo, Agent 9 the Monkey, Sergeant Bird the Penguin, and Bentley the Yeti. So while Year of the Dragon didn't change up the formula too much, the other playable characters made it end up standing out. Your goal and the collectibles that you're gathering change up also a bit throughout the games. In the first Spyro, you're collecting and saving the big dragons. In Spyro Year of the Dragon, you're saving the little baby dragons. I like the redesigns for the dragons themselves, and they gave like all of the dragons more of a personality, which makes them stand out a bit more, and was definitely an enjoyment to try to rescue them all. There was a lot of care put into remaking these games. The reimagined soundtrack I very much enjoy, but for nostalgia purposes, you can go in the options and change it back to the classic soundtrack if you want to do so. I also like the fact they got some of the voice actors to return, like Tom Kenny from Spyro 2 and 3, voicing not only Spyro, but some of the other characters he did as well. I can't overstate how much fun it was to go back and replay these games. They are absolutely gorgeous and as fun as ever. Sure, I did get frustrated a time or two at some of the challenges, but that's the exact way I was back in the day. I loved playing these games then, and still love playing them now. They did a beautiful job with this remaster. From the technical side of things, I didn't run into any crashing. There was a couple of minor slowdowns here and there, but really it was more of a hiccup than anything else. The Spyro Reignited Trilogy is available now on the PS4 and Xbox One for $39.99, and it features not only 1 Platinum, but 3, one for each game. Overall, when it comes to the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, I really do think if you loved these games back then, you're going to love these remakes now. I do wish, though, there was a few little extras thrown in, maybe some unexpected unlockables, extra costumes, playable characters in the other games, or just something else, like we got Coco, for example, in the Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy being playable in the other games. With everything said, though, I'm very happy with the game, and I'm going to be giving it a 9 out of 10. That's going to wrap up this review, though. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.